And delightful Sabbath day to all of you. Thank you once again for joining me, and thank you so much for your prayers and support. Let us continue reading this book by Uriah Smith, Daniel and Revelation. And we are now 1897, and we are now reading the comments of Daniel chapter 2. And before I do share with you today's reading, I would like to invite you for a word of prayer. Our Father in heaven, bless us as we continue to study your word. And I pray that you will not leave us nor forsake us. I pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. The soldiers of Cyrus first made known their presence in the city by falling upon the royal guards in the very vestibule of the palace of the king. Belshazzar soon became aware of the cause of the disturbance and died vainly fighting for his impaired life. This feast of Belshazzar is described in the 5th chapter of Daniel, and the scene closes with a simple record. In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. Thus the first division of the great image was completed. Another kingdom had arisen. As the prophet had declared, the first installment of the prophetic dream was fulfilled. But before we take leave of Babylon, let us glance to the end of its thenceforth melancholy history. It would naturally be supposed that the conqueror, becoming possessed of so noble a city, far surpassing anything in the world, would have taken it as the seat of his empire and maintained it in its primitive splendor. But God had said that city should become a heap, and the habitation the beasts of the desert, and their houses should be full of doleful creatures, that the wild beasts of the islands should cry in their desolate dwellings, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. Isaiah 13:19-22. It must first be deserted. Cyrus removed the imperial seat to Susa, a celebrated city in the province of Elam, east from Babylon, on the banks of river Coaspes, a branch of the Tigris. This was probably done, says Prideaux, in the first year of his sole reign, the pride of the Babylonians being particularly provoked by this act. In the 5th year of Darius Hystaspes, BC 517, they arose in rebellion, which brought upon themselves again the whole strength of the Persian Empire. The city was once more taken by stratagem. Superus, one of the chief commanders of Darius, having cut off his own nose and ears and mangled his body all over with stripes, fled in this condition to the besieged, apparently burning with desire to be revenged on Darius for his great cruelty in thus mutilating him. In this way, he won the confidence of the Babylonians till they at length made him chief commander of their forces, whereunto he betrayed the city into the hands of his master, and that they might ever after be deterred from rebellion. Darius impaled 3,000 of those who had been most active in the revolt, took away the brazen gates of the city, and beat down the walls from 200 cubits to 50 cubits. This was the commencement of its destruction. By this act, it was left exposed to the ravages of every hostile band. Xerxes, on his return from Greece, plundered the temple of Velos of its immense wealth and then laid the lofty structures in ruins. Alexander the Great endeavored to rebuild it, but after employing 10,000 men, 2 months to clear away the rubbish, he died from excessive drunkenness and debauchery, and the work was suspended. In the year 294 BC, Seleucus Nicator built the city of New Babylon and its neighborhood, and took much of the material and many of the inhabitants of the old city to build up and people the new. Now, almost exhausted of inhabitants, neglect and decay were telling fearfully upon the ancient city. The violence of Parthian princes hastened its ruin. About the end of the 4th century, it was used by the Persian kings as an enclosure for a wild beast. At the end of the 12th century, according to the celebrated traveler, the few remaining ruins of Nebuchadnezzar's palace were so full of serpents and venomous reptiles that they could not, without great danger, be closely inspected. And today, scarcely enough, even the ruins is left to mark the spot where once stood the largest, richest, proudest city the world has ever seen. Thus, the ruin of Great Babylon shows us how accurately, God will fulfill his word and makes the doubts of skepticism appear like willful blindness. May God our Father continue to be blessed and his Son be praised. Amen.